What's poppin'?
Just oh man, not much. Just getting ready to gotta send out the tweets and everything for this stuff. Pretty hyped to see that stars tweet also. At least have some type of a timeline, which feels good. But yeah, man. What about yourself? What do you have going on?
I just took the girlfriend to work. Drinking coffee now. Ready to start the day. Panda Poker starts today, but I think I'm registering for tomorrow's tournament instead of this evening's. So excited for
Nice,
that
man.
as well.
Hey, I was gonna ask, how do you feel about doing a tourney on the anniversary date, or do you think we should save it for Friday?
I'd say on the anniversary date. Fuck it.
Okay,
If you
that's
didn't,
what I was
yeah, if
thinking
you
too.
didn't request off work already and get that cleared through your, upper management, that's a you problem.
Awesome, man. Yeah, no, I was definitely thinking on the anniversary as well, doing a big tourney for that. And like you said, if people aren't off, then I don't know what they're doing,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, I couldn't imagine there being a better reason to use PTO than the Stonkiversary.
I agree.
I, I ended up taking off the whole month for it, so thank you for that.
Hey, fucking
See, I mean,
Wonktober, let's go.
I believe it, man. I believe it. So yeah, dude. I mean, Wonktober is real. Dude, it really is funny. I tweeted this out, or I didn't tweet this out. I sent this out in the DM yesterday. I mean, it was kind of a joke, but it's kind of true. Dude, the stocks have just slowly but surely, I feel like, they're closing in on every single project by just staying a stable coin. I mean, like slowly grinding higher when you look at the trend line over the past few months, but realistically, kind of just staying a stable coin where the rest of the market isn't. And I mean, slowly but surely, man, like, when you look at it comparatively, gaining momentum.
Yeah, when people were locking up their capital in USDT, Rooster was locking up capital in Wonky Stonks, and guess who's floating above the water now?
That's it, bro. That's it. Every one of those big hyped mints from the past year, realistically, outside of Jack Butcher projects. I'll say like Jack Butcher projects are like the one thing that has been hyped that's new the past year that's actually like maintained its relevancy. But outside of the Jack Butcher ecosystem, it doesn't matter what it is. Slowly but surely, man, the stock's closing in. Um, No, and dude, one of the beautiful things too that I really appreciate about this type of price action is it does give you the opportunity to snipe like a lot of really amazing amazing stonks near, like I think right now the floor is actually as pretty as it's been in a long time. Looking at all those aqua gradients, like, dude, I love the aqua
Yeah,
gradient
I
type of
blessed
vibe.
someone last night with the one that sold was actually mine.
Oh, dude, that nine trade.
No,
Yeah, I know, I
it's
know,
a
I
fake
know.
nine. It's a fake nine.
Oh, it's a fake
Yeah,
nine?
you think I'd ever sell a nine trade for less than half a
I was
ETH?
shocked when I saw.
Fuck
I thought it
no.
was a nine trade,
No,
and I
so
was
did
like,
I.
dude, what
When
in
I
the
bought
world?
it, I also thought it was a nine trade when I bought it.
I mean, it looks like it from the surface,
No,
right?
yeah,
Like, dude, you got to
absolutely.
pin that up there because if nothing else, I just want to appreciate the beauty of this one because it's one of those that's kind of like an invisible stonk. Would be the way that it's obviously kind of an invisible stonk if it's a fake nine.
So this is actually the stonk that made me make the connection that nine trades can only be line charts and they can't be bar charts because when I bought it, I thought it was a nine trade too, and then I go into the metadata, and there's just both candles were the same color instead of the secondary color being no color or none. And so then
Mhm.
that's when I was like, oh shit! I was like, that's when they can only be line trades. Here, I'm pinning it up now.
Awesome.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
blessed
dude, look
someone.
at that
Got to
thing.
stay liquid. There's a bunch of opportunity out here. I still got 39 more stonks. Um,
Dude, I get it. I mean, like I said, I never judge any song sales. So I completely get it. It's one of those things. Like, dude, in this market, people, do what you got to do. It's not a big deal, man.
Yeah, and plus out of my collection, I mean, like, I really only have grails to sell, unfortunately. This is one of the good things about being able to curate and pick at such low prices over the past 2 years. Is I built a massive collection of grails, but then when it comes to start selling some, I'm like, well, there's nothing I can ever like list close to full floor. Everything's going to be like 2x floor and up.
Well, but yeah, and you still got well above floor on that. So, like, I'd still say you did well relatively to how things are right now. So, I mean, congrats. It's nice being able to, be liquid with anything in this market. Poppy, welcome up to the stage, man. How is it going?
I'm doing wonderful this morning. Well, actually, I'm doing all right. I woke up with a headache, but besides that, I'm doing wonderful. And a little side topic. It's kind of funny how we got to meet. You know where in the social fi, but I never heard about your project. So I was like, let me stop by and and get a little TLDR and what's happening with the song. So I just stopped by. That's about it.
Yeah, man. Awesome. I'm happy to give the TLDR. So, especially because the 2-year anniversary. Well, actually, give me like 2 seconds. I want to tweet this out real quick because I still haven't tweeted it out from the Kaleo account. And I know that a few more people might hop in here in just a second whenever I do. So 2 seconds. Because, I want to be able to drop this to as many people as possible. But what are you active in right now, man?
Mostly in ETH, to be honest. That's where I started in 2019. So that's mostly where I'm at. I went to Solana for a bit, maybe for like 8 months. I networked over there, and then I came back to ETH. That's about it. Yeah. I run a marketing company, so.
So how long have you been plugged into the space for?
Like crypto in general?
Yeah, crypto in general.
Yeah, like maybe 4.5 years.
Awesome, man. So, like, what was that got you into it initially?
COVID, to be honest. I'm a physical therapist, and so I went to school. I graduated. I worked for about a year, and then after working for about a year, when COVID happened, they laid us off. They're like, "Oh, we don't need therapists right now. We only need MDs and nurses because we're in I guess, an emergency situation." So I got laid off, got sent home. I've always been into gaming and content creation, so I started making videos on YouTube, mostly on just regular gaming. And then I found out about Gods Unchained on ETH. This is, again, like in 2019, 2020. So like, oh, let me research it, what it's about. I had some ETH that I had bought in Robinhood at the time because I was still learning. I had about like maybe it was about like $30,000 worth of ETH, but I had bought it at about $110. And then once I learned more about crypto, I moved it out of Robinhood, put it in a MetaMask, and then I got hit up by some people on my YouTube channel. They're like, "Oh, we like your content. Why don't you join our Discord server? We'll give you alpha on crypto." And at the time, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, yeah, I don't know you guys, but I guess I'll give it a shot." So I joined their Discord. And they're just like these different people, some from Goldman Sachs and different hedge funds that they were just investing in NFTs and crypto. They were launching some OG projects at the time. By now, it's like 2021, so um, I help them mostly with social media management and content creation. Help them sell out. You might know some of these projects, Elio, or some of the people in the stage. One of them was Rumble Kongs with 3 pencil in them. Another one was called Paimons. Um, just a few different ones. I did that, helped them sell out, and then March ish comes in. This is when CyberKongs is minting. I don't mint. They get the alpha about Bored Apes, and they tell me they have like a connection with the team, and they're like, "Oh, let us refer you guys. Let us refer you over there. See if you can help." So again, they helped me contact with them, and I spoke with, at the time it was with Gordon, and he's like, "Well, we I can." He's like, "You have access to spaces." I was like, "Yeah, this is about endish of March because everybody was in Clubhouse at the time, and Spaces was like in alpha phase. But for some reason, I had access to it on my account. I only had like maybe 1,000 1,100 followers on Twitter. And they're like, okay, well, you help with the community like aspect a bit with NGB from the board apes, a little bit with Josh Ong and with Tropo Farmer, and you can be on the team like on running like the community side. I was like, okay, so I did that. Was with them until they sold out. A little bit post mint, um, and in June of 2021 when Axie Infinity comes out, I was still with them, but I was like, oh, I have a little bit of money. I got paid from them. Maybe I should sell one of my board apes and make an Axie Infinity thing because again, I was into gaming. So I told them I was gonna step down. I was gonna go do just content creation for Axie Infinity. They're like, all right, cool. And I told them if you guys need me for anything, just give me a holler. Um, I started with about 1.5 ETH that I had sold one of my apes for. I bought about like 20 Axies, some AXS. AXS was at $1 at the time. I started breeding the Axies to make some farms for scholarships. And like crazy enough, like within a month, my YouTube and Twitch went to like about 1,500 to 2,000 concurrent viewers for Axie Infinity. So now we're in July, and then by this time, uh, the main streamer was Bryson, and then it was me. To be honest, Bryson was getting about 2,500 viewers. I was at about 1,500, 1,700. So then G-Host hits me up, and he's like, "Oh, bro, we like the content you're creating. Why don't you want to become a partner streamer for Axie Infinity, and you can work alongside with Bryson?" I was like, "All right, sounds cool." So I became a partner streamer with Axie, doing giveaways, doing all that good stuff on social media. Did that about for 2-3 months. Gave a lot of scholarships to people across the world, opportunities. Made a little bit of money along the way, and then in August, September 2021, I was like, okay, I've made a little bit more money. I was still getting hit up by people to help with marketing because I have help with the Bored Apes, and so I was like, let me just make my own company. So in August, it was like about the end of August 2021, I made a marketing company um, with two lawyers that were Web2 lawyers, and then I kind of helped them get the ropes about Web3. So they kind of ended up along the timeline. They started focusing, learning about like IP law, DAO infrastructure, etc., Web3 law, and we implemented that into my business, and I've been running that since then, since August of 2021, and so that's my background. Um,
I appreciate that, man. Like that's a pretty impressive history, especially diving in during the COVID scene and really just embracing it and being able to run with a bunch of the opportunities that presented themselves. Because I feel like a lot of people that get plugged into the space, all it really takes to avoid the entire path that you said right there was like that first no to those people that reached out to you, right? If you said no there, it really wouldn't have snowballed into anything else. And I think that's something important for people to hear from that story is that sometimes there are opportunities that present themselves in parallel to whatever else that you're doing. And, you just got to step out and, go for it.
yeah, and I
So,
agree absolutely. And like sometimes people ask me like how like you're just lucky you're at the right time, right place, and I would agree. Like I was lucky, I was at the right time, and I was at the right place. But I think alongside with that, you kind of also have, like you were saying, you have to be prepared for when things come because like if an opportunity comes in your life, and like I don't know, you might be having side problems in your life or other stuff, and you're not able to capitalize on the opportunity, then those opportunities go by. But I mean, I was lucky. I mean, a lot of things I was lucky, but I was also um, open enough to take that opportunity because, like you said, I could have told these guys I had no clue who they were. Be like, nah, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not gonna go make free content for you guys to invite me to this Discord that I had no clue at the time what it was, and get alpha. Like, nah, what are you guys talking about? But I think it's just being open minded, being like ready when those opportunities present themselves, and then just becoming a better person and bringing value. That's what I've learned, and more than money, because luckily I've made some bit of liquidity, but I've also learned that after a certain threshold, like the people that you end up meeting with and building alongside with is worth more than the amount of money that you can earn in the world. And I think it's kind of like we can go back to the social fight. It's like I can't be like, oh, Calio is worth 8 ETH, for example, just throwing a random number. His value to me is 8 ETH because he's a person. Like no, like there's no number I could put on Calio, on Rooster, on Christine, on Eddie. Like those relationships are they're priceless. So that's what I learned in my time frame in Web3, and just ready to keep bringing value. So.
Well, I appreciate you joining us, man. So, like I said, wanted to tweet out and appreciate you, kind of giving us a background on yourself before I dove into more about the stonks. One other quick thing for everybody that's in here, I'm about to just give that quick background on the project for Poppy since it's his first time here. But if you guys could show some love to this space, I mean, either drop a comment. It could be something as simple, something just like as simple as stonks in that little bottom right hand corner where it's got the little bubble box underneath this space. If you can like it, retweet it, just blow this thing up. Definitely would be appreciated. I know there aren't a lot of other things that are happening on a Friday right now in the middle of the bear market. So let's get this out to the people. But yeah, man, Poppy, as far as the project itself is concerned, the key way that I've wanted to approach this thing from day number one, it was a stealth launch free mint back in October of 2021, where every single wallet could claim up to one stonk for free. So we had a max after that where you could, I think it was either mint 10 or something like that total stonks per wallet if you really wanted to. And at that point, it was 0.07 ETH per. So the average stonk price for the mint out was about 0.012 ETH for the entire collection. So, back then, again, it was one of those things where I had the opportunity to really be able to hype this up. Whenever I was telling a few friends about it, trying to get some feedback, everybody was like, okay, well, where's my honorary? Right? Because it was during the glory days of 2020, 21, where everybody wanted an honorary to be involved with anything.
Yeah, it was like
right?
that meta. Like I know the Bored Apes did it, and then after a few collections, like, oh, let's onboard different influencers and make honoraries inside of the collection.
Well, it was honoraries and whitelists, right? It was a combo of both. And I said I was going to do neither. So there were some of the people that were just turned off by that fact because, there wasn't anything in it for them, they felt like, right? So the day that I actually dropped it was during a space that I was celebrating the all-time high for Bitcoin and the all-time high for ETH. I was like, F it, we're going to drop this right now. We've been working on it for months. A buddy of mine and I had, so it's completely generative art. The whole idea behind it was just doing something that was different than anything else that was out there at the time. Because, it was more financially inspired art, right? Where it was from the trading background side, which more fit my brand and my audience versus just another PFP project, which were a dime a dozen back then. And also, the way I looked at it, I think that when you focus on art, I think that art is something that is transcendent and that has a better chance of being able to survive a longer period of time, right? So we focused on that was going to be the mission, right? No roadmap, no utility outside of the art itself, just building a community that really vibed around the same, the same passion. And slowly but surely, it's been nearly 2 years now. The 2-year anniversary is about 6 days away on October 19th. I feel like it's been crazy. We've outperformed projects that have raised millions of dollars. And all of that just comes from the slow, steady grind, not really focusing on some utility that's going to be outdated. Not focused on anything outside of that other than just a lot of people that appreciate the meta behind the art and the community itself. So yeah, man, that's why I'm so bullish on it going forward. Again, I think that it's really difficult for a lot of projects that are out there. It's you've got the Pumponomics roadmap. And that was one of the things too. Like back at the very beginning of this, a lot of people wanted me to drop some random roadmap.
I don't know if you remember the whole meta with the adding into roadmap was the voxel things for Sandbox, because Sandbox was like extremely pumped. So everybody would put like, we'll get 3D figurines of your voxelated NFT for the Sandbox. That was like the meta everywhere.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And at the thing, like the highest these have ever gone up to is 0.4 ETH. It's hit 0.4 ETH twice. It's at 0.15 ETH right now. But again, the way I'm looking at it, I mean, dude, it's just they've stayed consistent. And I actually think the fact, because they never had any overhyped, like massive, move up to like 2 or 3 ETH, like some of these other projects, and bled back down to where we are now, is actually way more bullish from the long run too. Because you're looking at it, it's like it's never been overhyped in anyone's minds. It's just built a really slow, steady, strong foundation of the core within the community. And that's the whole thing, man, is like, there are opportunities that obviously, like, I could go and, if I wanted to extract millions of dollars from a community with my brand with an NFT drop and then walk away, which you've seen some people do, right? Like, I could easily have done that. But I wanted to do something that bridged the NFT community and the trading community. And I think so far, like, over the course of the past couple of years, it's been amazing, and kind of blows my mind just how many people have told me, like, man, stonks were actually my very first mint, or they were the very first thing that I ever collected. And, that brought me into the NFT space. And, so I think that they've got a really cool history behind them as well. And one way or the other, the way I look at it, man, is it's like when I bring something into this world, like, I don't quit it, right? So, again, I don't do this because it is some type of cash cow. I mean, I've honestly spent more on it than I've like ever gotten out of it. But again, I do it for the passion, because I believe in the art, I believe in the community, and I really do think, down the road, that there is something to be said for just the generative art meta. And I think that there can be something else that's built on top of this brand, as time goes on. But again, really want to focus on quality over quantity. So, I'm in no rush to get there. It's like whenever the right opportunity presents itself, kind of like what you said with your whole opportunity where you jumped into this space, be ready to pounce on it. But again, not rush into the wrong thing.
I love it.
So,
I love it. With the generative aspect, did you end up getting a generative artist to make it, or you know how to code?
so it was my buddy, man. So it was a project between the two of us. He did the full coding behind it. So a lot of people think that it's just random charts that are out there that, we just turned into a JPEG. But, as far as like the code itself, a few cool things about it. So, the price action, you can go through the price action, like the way it was generated. Basically imagine like flipping a coin with step action, across an interval. And there is a variable amount that was also randomized for how much each coin flip could go up or down as you went through. And, again, like as you dive through the collection, it's amazing how it really does mimic real price action as you start to look through some of these stonks. And, on top of that, too, what's actually cool, another thing he added into the algorithm. So, basically identifying similar types of price action. So this is like one of the traits that you can look through. And, similar types of price action are basically bucketed together by this algo. So you've got rare types of price action that you can click through, and none of them are going to be identical. But again, if you really appreciate that perspective of it, of just saying, hey, I've got a rare type of price action as well, that's another thing that I think is pretty cool as far as which, dude, a lot of people, like the thing that blows my mind, it's the whole meme where people will say, hey, at like 0.1 ETH, what is that trash? And it like, at 1 ETH, they're like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. At 10 ETH plus, they're like, damn, that's a grail. It's the same type of thing with what happened with like Chromie Squiggles back in the day. Like Chromie Squiggles started off as like, dude, what is this shit? And now Chromie Squiggles, because of their price point to generative artists, they're like, man, that is like
Beautiful.
it is beautiful. It is profound. And the funniest shit behind like Chromie Squiggles, for instance, it's actually at the end of the day simpler than this. Like whenever I first learned to do some generative coding in P5JS, the very first lesson for the coding train, or one of the very first ones, the guy for the instructor for the coding train basically teaches you how to generate Chromie Squiggles. And when I went to follow that guy on Twitter, you know who was following him? Snowfro. So again, when people talk about like the profound difference in some of this stuff, again, I really believe that stonks have that potential to become, that profound perspective for a lot of people. I already see it. I think the community already does. It's just one of those things where eventually, like, you grind until the value reflects that.
And also, like, something that displays about you that you're passionate about the project is, like you said, you could have made it a cash grab so easily, especially in the ultimate peak of the bull run where everything was like at minimum a point oh 0.08 mint. Like that was like a standard. If you're not doing a point oh 0.08, then you had those other influencers that were selling their mints at 0.15. I know one guy for the cybercongs that ended up getting sold for like 0.25 a piece. He generated like 25-30 million dollars. So it just shows that you're just um inspired about what you're doing and just trying to provide value to the community. I'm looking at this one that's pinned to the top. Is there any uh like you were saying, there's different price action, like I would assume to the types of trend of charts that exist. Is there any that's like just like an ultimate pump, like that meme where it's like dump it or pump it, where it's just a straight line to the top? Is there any abnormalities like that in
Oh,
the
there's so many. Like, it's taken me. I've gone, through the stonks one by one, a couple times, and I've still seen like stonks that I feel like I've never seen before. Yeah, I have some god candles that pump like 500% in one candle. I have one that literally pumps and dumps in like two immediate candles and like continues its price action. There's a bunch with some abnormalities in them. There's straight down charts, straight up charts. There's a chart for everything. There's a chart for people's attitudes in there. Like there's literally a chart for everything.
Well, dude, and Poppy, one of the crazy things about them too. So when I first created them, I remember running it by guys like D's, and one of the things he told me, he was like, "Man, this project's too complex. Like, you have too many traits. It's going to be too difficult for people to be able to prioritize like what is a grail, what's not." And I actually think that's one of the things that's again uh, made this collection really unique because again, I think complexity adds value inherently, right? Where it's not just completely obvious where you go in, but it is up to the person to be able to determine, hey, what is the perspective on, just being a little bit more subjective. What do you value? What do you not? And there are a lot of even hidden traits that the community has found that, again, I never would have assumed going into it would be something that would stick out that have. Ellis, what's up, man?
What up, guys? Hey, I gotta go. I just wanted to let you know I just bought a beautiful like cotton candy stonk for Stonktober. Always appreciate you having these spaces every Friday, bro. What is this number like 900? Oh, it's 90. Okay.
86, bro. Look at the top of the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 86, bro, and this shit ain't gonna stop anytime soon. So always bullish on y'all. I'll holler at you later, though.
Yo, awesome, man. Thanks for coming up, Ellis. Appreciate you, man.
Peace. Peace.
So, yeah.
yeah.
But that's kind of the background, man.
I love it. And yeah, I barely recently got into generative art. So I live in Texas, and they were having the art blocks and the whole glitch thing in Marfa. So I was like, I only live 2 hours away from there. I was like, let me go check it out. Like, I've always been an NFT person just because that was my beginnings. So I was like, let me go check it out. Let me see like what it's all about, and I learned quite a bit, like how, like I always thought like generative art for some reason was kind of like how we do NFT projects. You get a lot of different templates per se, the different layers. You put them in the Python machine and just generates them like NFTs. But then I understood it's just straight code and no actual like layering. I was like, that's really crazy. Like that puts like it's crazy that all these generative artists are like they're coders at the end of the day. They're developers, and it gave me like a little bit more of a taste towards generative art. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. But I mean, the funny thing is, even right now, you can look at some of the top sales with what's actually moving in the market. Art is one of the things that is actually maintaining better than most right now. And it doesn't go back to some perceived, again, you can look at Yuga right now. A lot of people say Yuga's fumbled the bag by pivoting toward gaming. There's a huge portion of holders in the collection that kind of got isolated by that because they're like, that's not the vibe that I wanted to go for. Right. And if the game is a bust, guess what? That's a disappointment to people. Right. If you have some other type of utility for, social aspects and, it's all about the parties, guess what, man? Somebody else is going to come along, raise more money later on, and they're going to have bigger parties when you're not having that massive capital infusion at the top. Right. So if you go through and you list off these different things, that's my thing about utility. When you're building a project for Pumponomics and it's a quick, hey, I'm there, I'm gone, then yeah, that's the route to take. But if you're building something for a longer term, I think that we're doing it the right way.
Yeah, I've just been going through the sales bot on Twitter and just pinning up to the top
yeah, I just saw
some of the
that
more
Mega God
wonky
Condo,
ones.
the
Yeah,
purple one. That one's cool. I also love the color scaling between all of them. It's it's interesting. It's that black and white one for some reason looks rare, or it might be like beige and black. Um,
they're all rare.
like I, they're interesting. I like it.
Appreciate it.
What does it mean like when like some are colored in and some aren't? Is that just the
It's an
So
area
it's just all
chart.
randomized, right? Whenever we were first creating it again, you've got the two different themes. You've got like a wonky theme and a classic theme. So the wonky theme and the classic theme are like the classic themes are a little bit more muted colors. And the wonky themes are a little bit more of the bright, vibrant colors. We wanted a mixture of both just to provide a little bit more depth again to the aesthetic of the collection. Also on top of that, you've got different gradients and stuff that work in there too that I think are cool, adding on to the aesthetic gradient versus, just flat backgrounds. But then on top of that, if you're talking about the filled in, again, it's just different perspectives for how you would view a chart generally, right? You've got like, there's some lines that are just like a line chart, like what you would see in TradingView if you were just looking at a line chart. There's some that are an area chart where you'd fill in with an area chart. Like there's some that are like ticks, which again is just another view that you can have, when you look through, with the ticks and the candles. Um, that you look at whenever you look, and then on top of that you've got different indicators that also were taken from the algo, basically taking the API for different indicators from the API that you've got like on TradingView, something else, some of those public access APIs, and you can go through, and then after you generate that randomized price action, you attach the real API for the different indicators and you plug them into the chart. And, again, it is art mimicking reality from that perspective. So, we just wanted a depth of, for somebody that really appreciates it and looks at charts and that type of stuff all day, and even if you don't, we wanted something that was unique but at the same time, did give you that visceral picture of mimicking reality.
But again, and I seem to never be able to get an answer to this question. We look at these all day. Why would I want to own a JPEG of one?
That's the meme, man. That's the meme. So, yeah, again, that's just part of it. I really think when talking about it, you can talk about the complexities of different charts and different art that's out there. You can talk about different projects that are completely unique from some perspectives as far as just being really abstract art. And you can talk about others that, you know, are a little bit like this, right? Like it is a simple concept, but I think that it's really complex when you start diving into it. And diving into that perspective is just like, you know, again, man, like so many things, so many people, there are people out there that I think you're never going to make every single person happy, right? There are people out there that really appreciate this. And then there are people out there that'll be like, oh, you know, Kaleo, I can't. Like the other day, dude, I gave Arthur Hayes shit for his project because, or not his project. He tweeted out some wrecked coin. Well, dude, you know why I gave him shit about that? Because I know multiple people like that were offered in on the pre-sale for that round, 20K allocations where you could buy up to 20K. And you want to know what their pitch was for getting in on this? Hey, you've just got to send out a couple tweets to be able to get in on it. And basically, the way this designed, there's zero vesting. We're going to pump the shit out
Yeah.
of it, and you can do whatever you want with
Use
it.
everybody as
So
all your following as liquidity. That's disgusting.
yeah, so that's literally what it is. So I tweeted out, man, this is the scummiest shit. This is way beneath you. And you know, I still get people that'll comment underneath like, didn't you, you know, release a project that was MATLAB plots like recent, you know, a couple of years ago? And it's like, bro, how can you even make that comparison? Where it's like, one, you know, the art's way deeper than that. But then two, where it was something that was basically a completely free mint that from then I've stuck with for the past 2+ years, built a solid community, outperformed projects that have raised millions. But there are people that just want to give you shit because they don't appreciate, you know, like there's some people that don't understand NFTs. There's some people that will never understand the idea of value behind a digital collectible, and that's okay.
I literally have, and as many more people do as well, a canvas print of a stonk on my wall right now. Like the art in some of these is just absolutely gorgeous, ties the room together.
So yeah, man. I mean, slowly but surely, like I will manifest the stonks into a blue chip. It's that simple. So
I mean, I
you know,
think
I
you
like,
having it's interesting because you could have communities where their floor prices, if people want to think floor price is what considers a blue chip, which is I guess the general consensus, but I disagree with it. Like if the floor price is one ETH, but then the community is dead, like is it really a blue chip? Or then if you have you have
Yeah, would you rather have 10 moon turds, or I mean 10 wonky stonks, or one moon turd right now? Like, I think they're sitting around like one. I don't even know what they're doing anymore. Like at this point, like, I mean, don't need to talk about it at all, but you know, just putting it into perspective, you got moon turd sitting at an ETH and a half still. Community's dead. Founder is dead pretty much. Like everything about that project is dead. Yet they're still sitting
oh,
at
the founder
10x what a
died.
stonk is.
Oh, I didn't know the founder
No,
died.
no.
I'm kidding.
Uh, yeah, but pretty much, right? Like took everything, you know, relating to Moonbirds out of his Twitter profile and everything. Like almost seems like a complete rebrand. But yeah, just into perspective, you know, some things price doesn't mean shit at the end of the day.
yeah. So anyway, man, I mean, again, that's the whole thing that I really think is an advantage of not pumping early, not doing anything too crazy with that. Like, you know, the vibes in here are as strong as they've ever been within the community, which I think is really rare to say for any project that's been around for 2 years. You know, there are a few that I can name off the top of my head that are still probably up there, but there aren't many, right? And especially not many that started off as a free mint. So yeah, man. You know, I'm pretty hyped. I really think it's just a matter of for the NFT community in general. It's just a matter of time as far as if you are in a project, like what's going to happen the next phase is I think that we're going to hit a period where it's going to be another multi-year NFT bull run. And it's going to start off kind of a little bit slower. You're going to see random, you know, projects move up here and there where at the very beginning, it'll probably be some of the older projects that are being rebirthed back to life. And there are going to be a few where you get some dead cat bounces and they just pump because the rest of the market is, but they sell off because they already lost that community and it's difficult to rebuild that. And there are going to be some that end up sustaining it. And what happens whenever the NFT market really does start to move, it doesn't take much for a lot of these collections. Like the floor price really isn't the best metric because when you look at it, like the depth of the liquidity to be able to really scale into a position, it doesn't take much ETH to really get these things moving, right? So it's just a matter of like during this period of time, dude, you slowly, surely just like stack what you're interested in. And, if you've got the bullish thesis behind it, and you're right, like, when the market is rebirthed, you'll have that opportunity that a lot of other people won't be. Well, again, floor prices skyrocket pretty quickly because it doesn't take much to be able to regain confidence in this market and to really, in that sense, instill FOMO in this market because, when shit starts moving fast, everybody wants to rush in. And at that point, again, there's just not the depth of liquidity to be able to do that for the average person. So I think that it's just surviving until that state. And again, from there, dude, like if you get a month of that, your project survives it. What's going to happen is the dead cat projects fall off. They fall back down. You get a few of the OGs that end up being the catalyst that continues to spur things on. And that's when you really start to get some new projects and the new lifeblood of the NFT market that starts popping up again. Which, Poppy, when is the last time that you can really think of a hyped new NFT? Like we used to get 5 a day. Now we don't get any.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember like I would have like maybe like 30, 40 ETH just on the side for all these projects I would make. And if you remember too, it was crazy because in those days, like we didn't have all the tools to sweep. Like if you wanted to max mint and then sell, you had to sell manually on OpenSea. Or if you want to sweep, you have to buy one by one. But yeah, I don't recall at least in the last year and a couple months where we've had more than one hype project, maybe two at most. I think the closest thing to having two hype projects was fuck. Um fuck. Nah, I really can't think of two in a row now, to be honest. It's been a while. It's been a very long time.
Yeah, I look
Yeah.
at it this way too. It takes like 5 ETH to move the Penguin floor price up 0.01 ETH. You put 5 ETH into the stonks, you're up 30% immediately. So another couple metrics to look at it as well.
Well, what I'm thinking of, just like you were saying, Kelly, there will be like this whole new wave of new users coming into blockchain and crypto trading in general. My question is, will previous ruggers come back, and will people that are new fall for those rugs? Because like us OGs that have been here through the good and the bad, we'll recognize those actors, and we might, of course, like call them out. But will new people fall for those people that have had
Yeah.
malicious intent in the past?
Yeah, man. People that scam, like, if there's a rule of thumb in this space, people that have scammed will scam. It's that simple. Like, will they be able to do it on the same level? Hey, some of them are really good engagement artists. Like, they're going to do it on a bigger level.
Like a
And
Tuku.
there's some that won't be able to even scratch the surface of the fraction of the way they scam before. But does that mean that they won't do a smaller scam? No. Like they'll still try. So yeah, scammers scam. It's just in their nature. And sheep follow whatever they end up getting tricked into following, whether it's good, bad, ugly. Like there's sheep in this space, man. And you're unfortunately going to have some people that lead those sheep to a slaughterhouse and other that lead them to green pastures. But, it's like sheep always are going to exist too. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. But again, with all of that type of stuff, it's all stuff that fades out, right? Like the average. That's the thing that blows my mind too, right? Where I really don't care. It's one of those things where I look at it and like I'm confident I'm going to be around. over the next couple of years. I'm confident there's going to be another bull market. I'm confident that a lot of the accounts that are here are going to blow up throughout the course of that next bull market. And, when you look at people that are actually actively involved in a project, in a community, in something throughout the course of this bear market, again, there just aren't many. So, the fact that so many people, and I drop it because I really do believe that it's alpha, that this project is inevitable. Why? Because I am going to make it inevitable, and this community already without me, I think, could make it inevitable by themselves. I already think that it's grown that strong, right? So, again, I look at it and I say that every week because I mean it. And one of these days, there will be a day that, even though I perceive it as a blue chip, Rooster does, we all do, there will be a universally accepted time where people know about the stonks, right? They're seen. There will be a time where it's universally accepted, man, why did we fade Kaleo throughout that entire bear market? It was an obvious play.
Dude, yeah, the stonks outperformed, FTX, outperformed Celsius, outperformed Luna. The stonks out here outperforming all these past so-called blue chips, plus Kaleo as well. Kaleo's outperforming all of them, right? Bear market's taking those, but he's still here. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely not be betting against the stonks, seeing as how they outperformed FTX. Even though FTX took a couple with them on the way out.
It might have crippled me a little bit, but that doesn't mean we can't come back stronger. So, yeah, good times, man. Not really, but good times.
So
I thought we weren't allowed to mention
2-year.
that.
for the 2-year, man, what are we doing?
Hey, so okay, for everybody that's on here, and I'll tweet this out today too. So the 2-year anniversary, October 19th, which, as long as everybody's cool with it, I think that it would be acceptable, Rooster, to just have that as our weekly space as well, because it's on Thursday. I mean, we can do both. I'll leave that up to y'all to decide. If we want to do a follow-up on Friday, we can. We can play that by ear. But next Thursday is the 2-year anniversary. We'll do a big poker tourney for stonk holders. Going to give away a shit ton of stonks from my collection. And again, Poppy, here's another thing too. There are a lot of people that minted a shit ton of their own, collection for themselves at whatever price. Like every stonk I own, I bought off the damn floor. And the only thing I do with them is give them away. So, yeah. But anyway, so I'll do a big giveaway for that. So just make sure, you just have to own a stonk. We'll have to sign up in the Discord and we can open that up. I'm thinking that if we're going to have it, we'll open it up that morning, right? We don't want to open it up too early and have a lot of people that aren't active. That's the only reason why we can't open it up any sooner. So, just book on your calendar Thursday. We'll try to figure out the best time for everybody. It'll probably be around this time, but the only thing that sucks with that is it's also a work day, right? So I don't know. We're going to have to, poll the community and see what time works best for everybody. But yeah, we're going to have it sometime that day. It'll be fun. We'll hang out, we'll vibe, and we'll just celebrate surviving 2 years. Poppy, what's up, man?
I was gonna say, what platform do you guys use for the poker tournaments? The reason I ask is because one of my clients right now for my company is Jonathan Little. For you guys that might not know who that is, he's a professional poker player. And we're planning on doing poker tournaments, but he wants to do them in a Web2 platform. Even though he has an NFT project, he just feels it's more trustable and safe for the participants. But I was just wondering what platform you guys use for the poker.
I mean, we just use a really basic poker. Was it pokernow.club? I think it is. And you can pretty much connect it to your Discord. It's pretty simple. It's not everybody's favorite. There seems to be a lot of bad beats on there. If you have aces, you're pretty much going to lose the hand, guaranteed. Could just be me though. But yeah, we used pokernow.club.
Yeah, Rooster. Funnily enough, I have seen people win some hands with aces that are not you. So, um, I mean, I think Rooster's just a little bit salty because he can never make the podium.
Rooster, you do not shove with aces every time. Rule of
No,
thumb.
no, no. Trust me. I dabble around on the poker table. But no, I haven't been willing to win because I set up the tournament, so we don't need all of those conspiracies popping up in the Stonks community that Rooster's rigging the poker tournament. So I look like I'm fighting for the podium, but then really I just let everybody take over at the final table.
Dude, that's funny. So yeah, we'll have the tourney. I mean, Poppy, the easiest way to see if it's something that works for you. I mean, it may be too simple, but just get a stonk, play with us next week. And yeah, you can test it out and give it a trial run and see if it would work on the scale that you're looking for.
Absolutely. I probably just get one for I just like the the charts that look like it's like a ultimate pump, and then like I think Rooster put like it was a stop loss, and then it goes back to the dump. I don't have any, like, I guess, education in charts and stuff and trading. Like, it's all been just off of me trading NFTs and me learning little by little through my network. Like, oh, this is the resistance, this is this type of a chart, this is this type of a pattern. But I haven't like put myself to educate myself on it. But it look interesting. I love it, and especially since the generative, and like I told you, I've been getting into the generative art. Like, I like them. They're bullish.
You hear that, Kaleo? He just said he's been charting NFTs before you. So
I mean, hey, bro, what people don't realize is, Rooster, like, there's a whole wave of people that are out there that are charting NFTs that are into that right now, that like do that type of stuff, that they wouldn't be there today if it weren't for the pioneer in that space. They'll never know it, but it's the truth.
Give alpha. Give alpha.
yeah, how can you say you were charting NFTs before Kaleo when Kaleo NFT charts? Think about that.
Drop the heat, Rooster. Drop the heat. Yeah.
What's your background, Callie? Like, did you get into like Bitcoin? I'm assuming real early, and then you were a trader, or?
Dude, just 2017. I used to be an oil and gas engineer, and just degen my way into this shit. Degened into trading and have just been, like, really, really got in it for the tech to begin with. I heard about Bitcoin and ETH, and was just absolute, could not read enough about everything else in this space, right? Like, was just a sponge with everything. When I first got into it, I felt bad for my friends. I feel like I was one of those CrossFit bros where all I wanted to talk about was crypto, um, where it was just what I was obsessed with. And eventually realized I needed an outlet for that. So that's where I created the Kaleo account, where I wanted an online personality to be able to just vent with other people and completely just bifurcate that part of my life. And it's worked. So it's funny now. I actually hate talking about crypto to anybody that is not on here. To anybody that's on here, love it. To anybody that's not on here, I really hate it. So, but yeah, just been plugged in ever since.
It's like if you don't get it by now, I don't have time to explain it to you anymore. 2017, 2018, we were back in it for the tech. That's when everybody was in it for the tech. I remember spending hours and hours a day reading about new projects, new launches, which obviously 90% of them ended up doing absolutely nothing. But yeah, I remember the good old days of soaking up all that information, talking to everybody. You don't understand about the tech. Yeah, it was good times.
Do you know which one was interesting that came out? Like, I think it was May of 21. It was called APYmon. I don't know if you guys remember it. It was like this NFT that they had created a contract at the time that allowed you to time capsule things inside of the NFT, and they raised like 2.3 million, and they were giving away CryptoPunk and a bunch of other stuff, and it was on the bonding curve for the mint. But it was crazy because, like, from my understanding, the contract worked and it was functional. Where you could, like, let's say, Cali wanted to gift one of the people down here a stonk, he could gift it to him inside of this NFT. Like, the NFT would hold it almost like a capsule, like a time capsule, and be like, okay, in 3 months, you can open up and either sell or just keep it still. But it was crazy. They rugged for the 2.1 million, and they ended up gifting themselves the giveaways. But it's just crazy how time has elapsed.
Yeah, the movie that's going to come out about the 2021 2022 NFT craze is going to be absolutely, it's going to be cringy as fuck, but it's going to be a gold mine. And they're going to get so many things wrong and depict NFT people to be like the extremely poor, like in your mom's basement screen cheerleader. Yeah, it's going to be a great movie.
Well, dude, that's the GME AMC movie. I don't want to watch it. I really don't. I don't want to see how they depict everything that happened there, right? Like, I already know how cringe it's gonna be.
It's instead of the Bored Apes, they get like a rec project. That's not even the Bored Apes. Oh fuck! I can't wait.
Yeah, can you imagine them actually like trying to depict Hollywood, trying to depict a Bored Ape Yacht Club party? Like, what that would look like? Hey, bro, you got to have like Seth Rogen as a main character. That type of movie. I just think he would be like, when I picture somebody trying to depict, and be the satire for this Bored Ape Yacht Club holder, he would be perfect.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill movie.
Which, again, I mean, it would be one of those things I know I'd have to watch, and I'd probably laugh my ass off, but I also probably wouldn't want to watch because I know it'd also be making fun of myself, in a sense.
It's probably funny too, like, because I went to the first 4-day party and it was on the yacht. I bet they're probably doing like all weird, where like they're like in this corporate like business party. Everybody's like non-degen, like, oh, everybody's in suits and shit. Like, that's how the party went. Like, no, bro, not even close.
I wonder if they'll get the male to female ratio right, like the
Oh fuck no,
99 to 1.
they're probably like a 60-40. I bet, like 60% girls for some reason, like just for the cinematics component.
I think one of the most cringiest videos was the line outside of Ape Fest this past year. That was, I think that's what solidified the fact that I probably, even if I did have the funds to immediately buy an ape right now, I wouldn't do it. I don't think I'd do it.
Yeah, that line was disgusting. I was in that line. Not bullish. That was a very bearish chart. Not bullish.
Oh man, that's funny. Well, gents, it's been an hour. I've got, unfortunately, I am still trying to hustle to finish my taxes before, honestly, before Sunday. Even though Monday is the deadline, I want to get it done before Sunday when the arena relaunches, so I can degen back on it. So I appreciate y'all getting in here. Excited for next week with the 2-year anniversary. Again, just be on the lookout both on the Twitter page for more announcements from LedgArt, and also in the Discord where we'll have the sign up. So, appreciated having you up here as well, Poppy. Always nice having new voices up on stage. Really, really good to connect, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate everything I learned and looking forward to joining in soon. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man. So we will see you guys next week. Stonks are inevitable.
Cheers, everybody. Have a great weekend.